Hello, everyone. I could not be happier than I am now to launch the first episode of my podcast, Stories About Fear. And I'm so grateful that I got to this point as I have had a lot of help from some amazing people. And there's someone in particular that has helped me so much. And it is amazing to know that there are amazing people out there who give you all of their support without asking anything in return. My name is Roxana Popet. I am a transformational trainer and a speaker. And I am very excited to be talking to you as a friend about stories about fear. And this is very deep topic for me because I have had a lot of fear growing up, and I have been very privileged to be able to attract, to search, to look for a lot of answers as I wanted to develop, I wanted to grow a lot, I wanted to have my mind under my control completely. And I was very afraid that someone, something, or maybe someone that I didn't even imagine could harm me. I was afraid of living. I was afraid to move from the point I was in, but luckily I held on to my dreams as much as possible. Now, as I'm talking now, you can realize that I am not very comfortable with talking about my experience with fear, how it all began. I have a microphone here, I have devices, I have lights everywhere, and I'm also live on YouTube for those that are watching. Hello, thank you so much for watching me. Make sure you say hello and where you're from. And I wanted to first maybe talk a bit about who I am, and I'll start telling you my story in a few minutes. As I was saying, I'm Roxana Popet. Actually, it's Roxana Popet because I am a Romanian. English is not my native language, although I am an English passionate. I am a translator, English, French, and Romanian. And I have always dreamt of being more than an average person. I would always fear mediocrity, being mediocre, having a normal job, and guess what? It is exactly where I ended. And I had health issues in my late 20s. I was 25 years old when I have discovered that besides a heart condition, I had a lump in my throat. Then I had lumps in my breasts, and all of these blockages, all of these health issues were due to a lot of frustration, a lot of fear that I have built up throughout the years. As I began to search for a different alternative than the normal, simple pills that the doctor gave me, and by the way, these were the pills that my grandma would take for her heart condition. And I couldn't accept that I wasn't even 30 years old and I already had treatments. I had medical treatments that were, in my opinion, and in everyone else's, all of the people around me would say that this is not normal. Well, in my opinion, normal back then would seem the place to be, would seem the normal, the right place where you need to be in order to have a good life. And I remember that I was really scared. I was very, very scared because I could see my conditions deteriorating unless I would do something major. And as I discovered neuro linguistic programming, NLP, I got into understanding that my way of seeing things was a one simple statement that you would get from a child that is very not flexible. Growing up, I used to believe that only my point of view was the right point of view, the only point of view. I couldn't understand if other people would see things in a different way. I grew up as a very simple, happy child in a normal family, and I was. Not very willing to accept other people's opinions. I did not know how to respect the model of the world that the person in front of me has. I would think that everything would belong to me and that's it. I never understood these strong values of understanding what unity, what respect for other people is. And it's not because I was a problem child or because my family was um, a family that was ununified or that we had some trauma. Not at all. It was a rather normal family, and people would fight. My family members would fight a lot, but I am not sure how I managed to be very unflexible. And this has led to mountains of fears, mountains of blockages, of frustration that have made me get very stiff. I developed, in my opinion, and in other people's dealing with NLP opinions, these health conditions as I could not fully accept and embrace that my mind is not defining me. I would think that every single thought that comes to my mind is accurate, and this is how things are going to be from now on. For example, if I would hear my grandma say that life is tough, money is scarce. You need to have a job in order to survive. Hold on to that job, and that's it. I'm talking also about the professional and the financial part of my upbringing, and as this was the strongest fear that I had while growing up. And I used to think that when I would hear someone, especially my family members, talk about this, talk about a certain thing, then obviously, if they are my parents, if they are my family, then they know best. And of course, what they say is the only truth out there. I didn't have this strength to develop my own personality and at the end of the day to question everything. As I got to be transformational speaker and an NLP trainer, I have slowly understood, and yeah, in my case, change did happen slowly but surely, thank God. Luckily, I would manage to understand that change is beneficial for me. I got to condition my mind to know that when I make change, my mind can support me as well. Now, I know that I'm getting a bit longer with the story. However, I want to tell you one more thing that I believe is the answer to conquering all of your fears. Our mind is negative by default. Our mind's simple and single purpose is to keep us alive. Nothing else, nothing more. It wants us to have our body safe, and that's it. Unfortunately or fortunately, it doesn't care about any of our dreams, goals, aspirations, changes, or desires. Did it happen to you that you wanted to start working out? This was one of the topics that I had in my live session a few hours ago. You want to start working out. You haven't worked out too much lately, and your mind begins to question, why do you want to work out? Aren't you already alive as you are with your simple routine? Why do you need to bring anything else into your life? Anything that is change could mean a potential danger, could mean that you could die. Can you imagine your mind telling you this, your subconscious mind, and you are not even aware? This is what happens. And actually, fear equals your subconscious mind. Fear equals your subconscious mind. As soon as I discovered this, I understood that we actually live in fear unless we train ourselves, unless we decide not to live in fear anymore. This has been the strongest breakthrough that I have ever had, and it has set me free completely. And now, that's why I am called a transformational speaker, as I am giving people through all of my speeches, through the book that I wrote that has the visualizing bag exercise, in the 7-step guides to permanently conquer your fears that you can find on my website. I give you an instant relief to your fear. You can keep your mind under your control and get to have this wonderful freedom that comes along with this. As an NLP trainer, I am putting all of the tools, all of the NLP processes and procedures out there to serve you. This is actually the reason why I am doing this podcast, why I am doing my live sessions, why I am writing books and posting and finding the best, easiest, most efficient ways to help you conquer your fears. My entire business, my entire concept, Step on Your Fears, is the one that is meant to give you the answers, the solutions that you need. And I want you to let me know um, how I can serve you better. Now, this being said, let me tell you a bit more about my journey with fear and what I did to conquer these mountains of fears, especially in my professional area where I am very proud of my achievements and maybe my experience, not maybe, most probably all of the things that I have been through are going to inspire you to find out who you are too. What is your mission? What is your meaning in life? And maybe start doing something that is nourishing your soul, as maybe your own business, or maybe changing that job, or maybe changing your life completely. Now, what I didn't know back then, and I'm very grateful that I know now, is that fear is very sneaky, happening every single second when you are not present. And I want to share with you some moments, some stories when I would feel petrified and in danger, although I would be safe at home. I was 20 years old when I got, well, actually 20 years old when I had my first job. And boy, was I proud. I remember jumping up and down because I had applied for a few different positions earlier, and I was extremely happy that I finally got a job as I don't know how you call this. I would work in a um, multinational company with the public relations help desk. I used to be someone that would answer emails on some panels, on a research marketing companies panels. And I was very, very enthusiastic because I would use foreign languages because I am a translator. And I used to speak in English a lot. My managers were American. I was really happy, very excited. I used to speak in French, in Spanish. It was a dream job. Although growing up, my aspirations were different. I always wanted to be in the center of attention. I wanted to be well known, but I wanted these things not because I was very eager to offer, to give. Back then, when I was a child, I had no idea about unity, about offering, about being grateful. I was a simple kid that wanted more attention. It could be that I had needed more love growing up, and I didn't have it. And this is maybe one of the reasons why I would also grow up feeling very, very fearful. And this job was really great. I was very involved. I was extremely pleased of how my managers would acknowledge me. The company was just starting here in Timișoara. I was the first few employees that they had, and I couldn't be happier. Now, time went by, and I began doing the same thing over and over again. And what happened to all of the enthusiastic Roxana from the beginning? I wanted to quit. I think I wanted to quit after less than a year because I would spend a lot of time working, commuting from one place to another, from one part of the city to another. And I wasn't very pleased with the paycheck either. If at first I had this wonderful achievement feeling and this fulfilling emotions that I have my own salary and I have my own money, this came in second. And I remember being terrified one time staying at home late in the evening, pretty tired after coming home and thinking, oh my God, my life is over. I feel dead. I have nothing new to learn, nothing new to do, no challenges, nothing that is getting my creativity into action. And I was very upset and I had a moment of panic. This is related to a few minutes ago when I told you that I wasn't present in that moment. That's why I was really, really scared. I had this panic attack because I was thinking in the future, a future that I did not like at all. And I needed to do something. I had no idea what to do. I was afraid to quit my job and do something different because I wanted the money. I was very worried about what would other people say that I'm leaving a really good job. What would my parents say? What would my friends say? And I began feeling this emotional pain. Emotional pain is more than mental pain. Mental pain is more of a frustration combined with a lot of doubts and limiting beliefs. Emotional pain happens when your creativity is slowly but surely dying. And I was very scared and numb. I began numbing myself more and more as I couldn't see myself move from that place. Although I wanted something different, I had no idea what, I was confused. And that situation that I was in is a situation that most of the people I still know are. And one of the reasons why I created Step on Your Fears as a transformational speaker and an NLP trainer was to offer people the chance to see fear from a different perspective. Because if fear is our mind, fear equals our mindset unless we begin to be very conscious about this and very present, we get to die slowly every single day. And I want you to imagine that you are very young, you have a lot of dreams and aspirations. You don't know exactly what you want to do because you maybe didn't get the right guidance. However, when you realize one day that you are stuck in this in this very strange and awful cycle of repeating an unwanted routine every single day, you get desperate. And this is actually the right word. I was desperate. I was lonely. I didn't think anyone could fully understand me. And I remember that I thought that this is how life needs to be. Can you imagine? I thought that my life is going to be this way from now on. Luckily, I still had some life in me, enough just to listen to a friend of mine back then that was working in the same place as I did. And she would say that she had breast cancer, a very young girl my age, and that she cured it with NLP. I didn't know too much about NLP, about neurolinguistic programming, but she was ecstatic. Of course, she got herself cured, and I was very eager to learn more because I also had a lump in my throat back then. And as she began to tell me more and more, I wanted to do this NLP. I wanted a session with the person running courses here in Romania, in Timișoara. And I met that person. I met Gina, and she was an amazing free woman. Her mindset was completely different. I loved her vibe, I loved her energy, and I kind of got a glimpse of what I would need to do in order to leave my very old patterns of thinking behind, and to leave all of this fear, all of this inflexible mindset behind me. I would think of what Gina said. I visited her during a session, and it would seem extraterrestrial. It would seem alien talk because I was never put into this place where I could talk about my emotions freely. And I was afraid to talk about my emotions because a lot of doubts about me expressing myself were seeded as I would grow up. I did not know who I really was. My personality was very flexible, although my emotional being was not. I always would be the type of person, the chameleonic person that would be exactly the right type so that the people around me would like me. If I would see someone that maybe had different values than I did, just to be accepted, I would behave and be in the same way as that person. And this would cause a lot of frustration and more confusion to me. And I discovered um, a new way of talking about my emotions, and that is journaling, writing the things that would bother me, writing them down. And this was the first step to me liberating all of the things that I have gathered up inside of me for so many years. I was not present. This was the strongest cause of all of the fears that I had, of me not knowing who I was, of me not developing a personality that could have the courage to change my professional life as much as I wanted to deep down inside of me. And well, long story short, I had a very painful and a very long work on myself through NLP, and I am very happy that I began this journey in personal development, as after 8 years and a half of working in a corporation in this mine 18 after me taking the NLP trainer's course and becoming a speaker, I could develop and I could grow my business more. And this business's purpose is to help you, to inspire you, to get the right amount of courage and to start seeing fear from a different perspective, because I have come to the conclusion that you can do three things with fear. You can either step on it, step on your fears and do the thing that you are most afraid of. This is the name that I chose for my for my concept, as I now am doing the thing that I am most afraid of. I am now live recording a podcast, live on the internet, on YouTube, talking about a past that is very painful to me, and that's why I'm so emotional now and stumbling while while I tell you my story. And I want you to get to a point where when you can say, yes, I am proud of myself, I made it. So again, with fears, you can either step on it, do the thing that you are most afraid of. You can learn from it, see it from a different perspective. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation or this person? Or you can get your conscious mind with the right questions and see whether this is a rational or an emotional fear. When you discover that this is an emotional fear that has kept you back for far too long, and then you bring in all of this amazing, rational, wonderful concepts that can support a free mind, then you are free. I want to thank you for listening to me. I want to thank you for watching. I want to continue this podcast every single month, 2 times per month. Let me know your questions. I want to know your story too. And I want to thank you for your understanding, for me being maybe a bit too emotional, but this is my road to personal development, and I hope it inspires you. I hope you find this useful and supportive from the bottom of my heart. I wish you well. Goodbye to my friends on YouTube as well, and I will see you very, very soon. Have a wonderful weekend ahead.